Hi, I'm John Cahill, and I'm your Clark County Public Administrator. And I want to give you some hints about some of the things that you can do so that you won't need me in your house and going through all your belongings when you pass away. And that's something that happens to all of us, and we know it, but sometimes it's a difficult thing to face, but it's important to plan. And I encourage families to do that. I encourage parents to talk to their adult children to talk to your parents, talk to your family members. Don't put it off. I understand that it's uncomfortable, but it's going to be a lot more comfortable and a lot more organized afterwards if you'll do a little planning up front. Now, nothing I say here is legal advice. You get your legal advice from your attorney, and you can also download from the Nevada Bar Association website or from the Clark County Public Administrator website a pamphlet on probate and how probate works, and I'd encourage you to do that. Please don't misunderstand anything I give you here as legal advice. It is information. One of the things that you can do that's very important is have an emergency contact list. And I have a list form that is available and can be downloaded from our website. That form is just a simple one where you can write down your contacts, and it's also a great reminder for other things that you might not think of. It gives you a place to note your doctor, your hospital, your attorney, your church, and the pastor, location of your wills or your trust documents, bank accounts, investment accounts, life insurance and title documents, and your veterinarian, or how you want your pets handled in the event of any emergency. So that emergency contact list and some basic directions is a great thing to have. I encourage everyone to fill it out, share it with their family so they know they're on the list, and to put it where it will likely be found if emergency services arrive at your house. One thing you can do in the state of Nevada, and this is really very simple, is have a holographic will. A holographic will, you want to see what it is, you can look it up. It's NRS 133.090, and that a holographic will is a will in which the signature date and material provisions are written out in the hand of the testator. That just means you write it all out by hand, include and make sure it's got a signature date, and it gives directions on what you want to have happen in the event of your death. It doesn't need to be witnessed, it doesn't need to be notarized, and it is a completely valid will. But again, you know, nothing's as simple as it may sound. So I encourage you to see an attorney and ask any questions about that. An executor is named in a will is the person that's authorized to take care of the last part of your estate. The bills that have to be paid, closing out bank accounts. And if you want to see all the things that they're responsible for, go to the Nevada Revised Statutes and look up personal representative under wills, and that will give you some idea. I believe it's important, and this is something the family can decide. It's always my recommendation you name an executor that's a generation below you. You name someone in your same generation, as will often happen. People will ask a brother or a sister, or they'll assume a spouse is going to do it. And so they will name those persons as executors, and then they live a grand and great full life, live to a ripe old age of 90-something, and the person that they named may have predeceased them. The person that they named may no longer be able to carry out that duty because they passed the age where they can easily get up and go to court and go running around filing papers and marshaling assets. Don't keep a will in a safe deposit box unless your named executor has access to that box, equal access to that box, and can access the box after you're dead. And the reason is then your original will is in there, and it takes a court order to get into that box to get it out. So I never recommend that that's a good place to keep it unless you're sure that the person that you've named will have access to it. And we have to be practical here. A lot of people just say, well, if I die, I'll be survived by my spouse. I think it unlikely, but if it should happen that my spouse were to die, then I'll be there to take care of things. But it doesn't always happen that way. And we've had cases where we know that sometimes persons will die in car wrecks or house fires or other circumstances they don't get a chance to name a new administrator. So you can name a first and you can name a second that can step in and handle things. See your attorney on those issues. And I again will encourage you, don't put off talking to family because you don't want to be a burden or a bother, or it's an uncomfortable kind of thing. And this is really important. You know, there are so many folks that we get involved in the cases because there has not been planning. That's what we're here for, and we like doing our job. And it's an interesting job because people are interesting, and that's really what we deal with. We deal with people even though they're gone. But there are things that you can do that will really help in this inevitability when it comes, and it'll be much more comfortable for those things to pass along without me being there from the government making decisions about your property when you're gone. So I encourage you to take care of that business. Another thing you can do is you can talk to your tax consultant, find out ways that property and assets can pass along outside of probate, so that it's cheaper if they do that. So talk to your tax advisor about pay on death bank accounts, pay on death investment accounts, and talk to them about deed on death, which is a way to transfer real property that's outside of probate. I really encourage you to look around you and at the seniors, the elderly folks at church that you may know from visiting with them at the senior center, or that you may have helped out through a service organization. That could be your neighbors or acquaintances of any kind. I encourage you to ask them if they have their emergency contact sheet up so that folks will know who to contact. Ask them if you can be of any assistance to them in helping organize those things. If they don't want you to do it, I'm confident they'll tell you no. But if they say, you know, that would be great, I'd like to have some help, you can assist them by guiding them to the senior law program at the City of Las Vegas that serves all income eligible senior citizens in Clark County. And you can find out information about that senior law program by calling the City of Las Vegas, or they have a great website and it will show all the things that they do there, and they will write a will. They'll assist a person in writing a will. If you don't have access, you know, a lot of these things I say, go to our webpage and download it, and you may not have access to a computer, or you may be wanting to assist somebody that doesn't have access to a computer. You can assist them by working with them on the computer that you're probably looking at me at right now, and you can assist them by they can have computer access at libraries, at senior centers, and sometimes at government centers will put computers out for folks to use right there on the spot. So that may be another way to do it. But the best thing is if you can help them yourself. People have a lot of misconceptions about what happens in probate, and death and taxes go together. That's an old saying. But there will have to be a final tax accounting, not just for the folks on an estate tax, federal taxes on that, but for everybody's last 1040 filing, and that's a job that the executor has to do, or the administrator. They will have to take care of that last filing. So my message to you is a little bit of preparation, a little bit of planning ahead, and certainly notifying folks with an emergency contact list can be a great help for everyone that goes to work when you don't have to do any more work. So do that. I'm John Cahill, your Clark County Public Administrator, and if you have any questions on any of this stuff, see my webpage, Clark County Public Administrator.